Jeremy Clarkson blamed his children's generation for not getting up and voting after Britain voted to leave the European Union in the 2016 referendum. Unearthed comments from the Remainer show. The controversial Grand Tour presenter recently picked up farming, as documented on popular Amazon Prime show Clarkson's Farm. The show sees Mr. Clarkson chaotically take on his 1,000-acre working farm, having had no previous experience. Faced with the worst farming weather in decades, unresponsive crops and an unprecedented pandemic, Mr. Clarkson took to his weekly newspaper column to complain about the challenge. He wrote, "I can now whinge for hours, without reception or hesitation. The weather, Defra, Carrie Johnson, that be asterisk 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 T. Alpaca, Chris Packham, Brexit, Badgers, Ramblers, the timber shortage." He also described in the Times column that the project was a bottomless pit of misery and despair that he is currently wallowing in. The notoriously outspoken Mr. Clarkson has often voiced anti-Brexit sentiments while he was deeply critical of Prime Minister Boris Johnson during the first wave of the COVID-19 outbreak last year. Speaking to LBC in 2019, Mr. Clarkson blamed Brexit on the young when asked if he was worried about the future of Britain. He said, "Of course, there's nobody in Britain who isn't worried. I've got 3 children in their early 20s and you look at their life and think, why did you not get up and vote? None of them did, nobody under 25 got up and voted, otherwise we'd be remaining." Despite Mr. Clarkson's claims, detailed polling data conducted since the referendum by Opinium showed that turnout among 18 to 24-year-olds was 64%, double the initial figure first forecast. In a pro-EU tirade, Mr. Clarkson also described those that voted to leave the EU as coffin-dodging idiots. He said, "Those coffin-dodging idiots who voted for Brexit have just screwed it all up. All right, we may lose a car or two, but think how many thousands of people are going to have their livelihoods absolutely ruined by car firms understandably moving their factories to Slovakia and whatever else." Mr. Clarkson hosts the Amazon Prime's The Grand Tour alongside James May and Richard Hammond, with the trio having previously fronted BBC flagship show Top Gear. Despite welcoming Mr. Johnson as a guest in a Top Gear episode aired in June 2003, Mr. Clarkson did not hold back in lambasting the Prime Minister for his confusing Rule of 6 guidelines last year. The Grand Tour presenter also suggested that Mr. Johnson was more concerned with popularity than the country's well-being. Mr. Clarkson wrote in his The Sun column, "We are looking at the prospect of 5 million on the dole. We are staring down the barrel of a depression beyond anything humankind has ever seen before, and Boris is talking about BL***DY barbecues. The trouble is that Boris Johnson is motivated most of all by the need to be liked. Which means he doesn't want to do anything which, even in the short term, is unpopular. Well, I've got news for you, Boris. You are damned whatever you do.